Professional footballers have almost everything they need to stay ahead.
Here's Nuno Mendes and he whips that one in looking for Ronaldo! Goal number 900.
So how are me and you supposed to catch up? You see, if you do it like everybody else, it's nearly impossible. But here we do things a little bit differently. So I'm going to show you the fastest way to catch up to pros. You see, the reason it's almost impossible is because they have entire teams making sure they spend the most amount of minutes on the pitch as possible. They have, crazy level of support. They have the highest quality of training. They have constant feedback. They have, they're actually working on things that take an entire career to work on. Like, for example, game IQ, game speed, decision making, all the mental things that have to do with football. They're working on that stuff and making progress towards that stuff, while me and you are still working on our technical ability. So the pros have, all these great things about them. So why don't we just outwork them? Just to slap a little cherry on the cake, we physically can't outwork them. You see, the demands of the sport of football is 90% lower body, basically all lower body. So you can only really train for 2 hours, 2.5 hours a day at high intensity. But you ever see guys like Habib, like Kobe talking about, oh, I train 3 times a day, 4 times a day, train for 8 hours a day. The thing is, the demands for the sport are different. MMA, basketball, stuff like that, those are half lower body, half upper body. So they're able to train all those hours in the day. For me and you, we're capped at 2 hours. So you're asking me, like, what the hell's going on here? We're checkmated. We can't outwork them. And they have, an elite level of support. They get more out for what they put in. So what are we supposed to do in this situation? How do we catch up to the pros? Introducing low impact training. So low impact training is a training style that improves your performance without physically fatiguing your body. Now this looks like proprioception training, stability training, balance training, coordination training, learning about, sleep, nutrition, testosterone, stress, nervous system, pelvic health, foot health. It's all of these unorthodox, weird ways to improve your performance outside of the 2 hours. And the absolute beauty of this type of training is that it's unlimited. I mean, like, you can literally do this for an unlimited amount of time and there's no physical limitations to it. Now, the reason I absolutely love this type of training so much is because though the professionals are doing some of these things, they're recovering and they're meditating and they're doing all this and doing that, you can find so many ways to get ahead by just stacking these things on top of each other. So what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is, for example, 30 minutes after practice, you can get something called Be Your Best Pro. It's a VR headset that improves your game IQ. You can spend 30 minutes improving your game IQ without physically taxing your body. What the heck? And then you can go and do this new, routine that you found that's going to, strengthen this one part of your body that doesn't hurt your body too much. And then every morning you can spend an hour doing wall ball, refining your technique without taxing your body. Because the beauty of wall ball is that you can work on all the fundamental techniques of performance and it doesn't bleed into your practice. It doesn't make you more sore for practice, or even if you do it after practice, it doesn't bleed into your recovery either. So there's a whole list of these type of low impact trainings. I actually have a doc created. Obviously, I'm not encompassing all of them because I can't really think of every single way to train low impact. If you have any suggestions, slap them in the comments. We can make, a big grand doc we can both use. But having this type of training allows you to incrementally get closer and closer and close the gap between us and the professionals. And I'll be honest here, like, your stability training or your ankle thing that you're going to do or whatever is not going to make you 20% better footballer. It's going to make you a 1% better footballer. But it's that compounding effect. You do a little bit of this and a little bit of this, a little bit of this, and then you start surpassing your teammates. And hopefully when it all comes together, it allows you to improve your performance by such a significant amount outside of the 2 hours. And I'll be real, the 2 hours you spend are the most important thing. Like, your whatever training outside of them is not as important as what you do in the 2 hours. So if you have a physical capacity, and which you do, max out your physical capacity. So if you can only train for an hour and a half because of an injury or this, then push it to 2 hours, push it to 2.5 hours, to the point where you're doing all of the training that you can in those 2 hours. And then you can start looking into low impact training, because those 2 hours are the scrimmages, are the high intensity stuff, are the stuff that really, really push your game to another level. So I'm not saying this is the end all be all. What I'm saying is, if you are in the position where you said, hey, I'm sore after practice, or I want to do more to get ahead, then this is a solution for you. I spent 5 years in and out of injury, and every time I come back, I'm always so sore after practice, and I can't even train the next day. I gotta take a rest. And I wanted to find ways I can actually improve outside of the field. I wanna give you an analogy. Imagine you have a car, your body, and a driver, which is your mind. That car is limited. So you can train the driver. The same way MMA fighters, after sparring, they go and do shadow boxing. Why? Because shadow boxing is such low taxing on your body, but they can still get the basic techniques in. I mean, it's the same for us. We can't do a shadow scrimmage or whatever it is, but it's the concept which I'm trying to explain to you. So think about this, add a few things into your routine, and let me know if they help. I've already added in a few things like wall ball, like stability, proprioception, balance training. I'm really big into those weird things. Foot health is another very, very big thing. It's underrated, and I can't spend time in this video talking about these type of things, but adding them is going to be very helpful. Whatever your needs are as a player, tackle those things within the 2 hours, and then spend the rest of the time also tackling them with the low impact training. My name is Alp. I'm on the journey to being a professional footballer myself. I see a big gap in the market with the YouTube football content. I feel like I want to take a bit more of a thinker's intellectual approach to going pro in football and really breaking it down to what it takes to go pro. So if you learned anything from this video, then subscribe.